What up, High and Wide fam? I'm Delco Dave, and I'm joined, as always, by a member of the Mount Rushmore of the NHL Officials Hall of Fame here, the great Dave Jackson. Dave, how's it going today, man?
It keeps getting better every time you intro me. You keep using revisionist history. I keep getting better every episode.
Yeah, got to keep the intro unique. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear you. How's it
Yeah,
going?
man. Good, man. So we got a few calls to go over today. Normally it's just two. We got three calls, so a little treat for the fans. Also, quick shout out to the rest of the High and Wide Hockey Network, Pod Street Bullies, Time My Skates, HW Radio, and as always, you can find Dave on ESPN's broadcast as ESPN's NHL's rules analyst. So, we a couple of topics we're going to cover tonight: the double tap on a shootout, hand passes, and goals not being allowed due to intent to blow the whistle. So, Dave, if you want to do a rundown of some of the topics we're going to cover before we start showing the clips, go ahead, man.
For sure. Well, we're going to talk about the really rare disallowed shootout goal the other night because seldom do you see a shootout where you have to go to review for it. But in this case, we did, and I felt the right call was made, and that's why we have the shootout. And I'll explain the mechanics of how that works. We have a hand pass, which the Ranger fans felt was robbed them of a goal, but also the right call, in my opinion. And then we have a goal that was very similar to our last episode, where the whistle was a little bit late, and I'll explain why it was late. But ultimately, the goal was disallowed. So let's roll some video, and we'll break them down one by one.
All right, we'll kick it off with the shootout here.
Review, it's determined that the Florida player double tapped the puck. Therefore, we have no goal. Do you believe that?
For the love of Mike Palmateer.
Let's see this one ourselves. Did he hit that twice?
So, the announcer at the end were asking, did he hit that twice? I actually thought it was pretty obvious once you saw the overhead angle. But like you mentioned, it's pretty rare to see a review in a shootout. So they ended up having to go back and take a look at it. I guess my first question would be, who makes the determination that it's going to be reviewed in a shootout? Is that straight from Toronto?
Exactly. So what people don't understand, and you will next time you watch a shootout, watch what happens. Whether it's the final, like that shot was the deciding shot, like that won the game for Florida until it was brought back. And you watch the next time you see a shootout, linesman places the puck center ice. The shot the shot goes, whether it's a goal or a save, and then the viewer sees replays. But if you're live in the building, you'll see the linesman. He's standing in center ice. He's placed the puck at center ice. He's standing over the puck and he's not moving, which prevents the shooter from leaving too early or not waiting for the referee to signal a whistle saying we're ready to go for this shot. The linesman stands there. He blocks the puck basically. And what's happening when that's going on? You've got television wants to show one or two replays of the goal or of the save. But more importantly, for this aspect of the game, is the guy in the penalty box who wears a headset. He's got the microphone and the headset, and he's the commercial coordinator. He's the guy that hears from the TV truck and all that. Okay, we're good to go. We're back from commercial. Let them play. Turns off the red light. Well, during the shootout, he's live with the Toronto Situation Room, and the Toronto Situation Room reviews every single goal. And that's why the linesman stands there. And it's not until Toronto says to the guy in the penalty box, good goal, let them go. He signals to the linesman. That's when the linesman backs off to the boards, referee blows the whistle, and the next shot occurs. So there's a live link up during the shootout process, and every goal is reviewed. So in a case where there's a little bit something extra to it, if that hadn't been the winning goal, you would have just had a bit of a lengthy delay. And then they would have said, they would have called the referees over. It would have been more of a delay. And then they would have said goal was no goal, double tap. In this case, it was a winning goal. Everybody's leaving the ice. So what happens in a case like this is Toronto realizes right away that the goal's a little greasy. We're not sure it's no goal, but it's a little greasy. Right away, they'll tell the guy, get the closest ref you can find, whether it's a linesman, whether it's a referee. Tell him we're reviewing this goal. It might be no goal. Don't let the teams leave the ice. And that's what the guy would do. It's almost like a panic, but you open the door and he starts yelling at the closest referee you can find. He's like, Don't let them leave the ice. And that's when you'll see the referees go, they're hitting their whistles hard and they're telling the teams, wait, stay on the ice. This is being reviewed. And then when you make sure the teams haven't left yet, then you go back over, you talk with Toronto, and ultimately that's the announcement you had made that it was a double tap. On a shootout or a penalty shot, you're not allowed a rebound of any type other than the puck hitting the crossbar or post, bouncing off the goalie and into the net. That's permitted. But once you have released that puck, which he did, he releases the puck and he's so close to the pad. He's almost trying to stuff it underneath the pad. But the goalie gets a piece of the puck and almost like a pinball machine, the puck bounces off his stick and back in the net. Was it an intentional rebound? Probably not. But he was in so tight, he had the misfortune of it bouncing back off his stick. However, if it doesn't bounce back off his stick, it's probably not going in the net. So double tap, it's considered a rebound, illegal. They made the right call. And, you might see that once every 10 years. It's not going to happen very often, but definitely the right call. And, for anybody complaining that they got robbed, well, the rules in the book for a reason, and they called it consistently and they called it correctly. And that was really good job on Toronto doing it so quickly too. It wasn't a very long review.
I think the intricacies of what you went into about when they realized it's the winning goal, teams could be leaving, get the ref's attention and stop them from leaving. Because from a fan's perspective, that's what you're seeing. You're just thinking game over, people are leaving. So from a fan's perspective, like you mentioned, it's the winning goal. That's why it was like that. Any other one, you would have saw some replays, no goal, move on to the next shooter. But it was that particular split second because it was ruled a winning goal, and then they had to do the review. Everybody thinks it's over. So I think that was from a fan's perspective, I think that was the big part.
Sure, and the poor referee, he's 10 feet away. He can't see that in real time. He's on that same side, but the stick is blocking it. So there's no way the referee points goal. In his mind, it's a good goal. And I don't even think the goaltender complained. I don't think the goaltender, a lot of times the goaltender might complain and get the referee's attention and say, hey, rebound. But in this case, I don't think anybody realized it. It was Toronto picking it up on the overhead with someone's eagle eye, got the call right.
And the ref called good goal. And if it wasn't a shootout, that would have been a good goal. Nothing else was wrong about that. If that was just a breakaway during live play, that's a goal.
Absolutely. Had it been a penalty shot, the same rule would have applied. It would have been no goal.
Yeah, shootout or penalty shot would have been no goal. But live play, like a breakaway, that exactly just would have been a good goal.
Exactly. Yep.
All right, we'll jump over to the hand pass in the New York Rangers game. 2 clips to show you. I'll run them back to back, and then we'll break them down.
Had to go through his skates. He's got it. Power play is over. 1 shot on goal on the power play.
Maybe just behind the net when the puck went up in the air and he tried to get it in front.
I think the second one shows you what you need to see. The first one was the live angle, and if you're just watching that live, it looks like a puck just bounced off the boards, bounced off a player, and they knock it in. The second one kind of shows where it looks like it was redirected by the arm, the hand, out in front. So go ahead and give us your thoughts, Dave.
Well, what I love about this one, and I love giving props to referees when they make the right call without any kind of help, and they just make it in real time. And if you saw that play there, the referee just drilled his whistle as the puck was going in the net. No hesitation, waved it off, motioned hand pass. And that's how good these guys are. Like in real time, he knew it was a hand pass. And on my Twitter account, I actually freeze framed it. And there's 2 pictures in there, and it shows the puck about that far from the guy's glove. And in the next frame, the actual round puck is right on the white collar of his glove. It's sitting flat right there. Now, some people said it went off his elbow, went off, his shoulder. It didn't. It went off his glove. Glove is the hand. Whether, it's the wrist or whether it's the fingers, hand pass, it's a glove pass. Illegal. So then the next question is people say, well, he didn't pass it to his teammate on purpose. He was just reacting to a puck. He couldn't get his stick on it. He was reacting to it, and I absolutely agree with that. I don't think he meant to direct it to his teammate, but it doesn't matter. That's not the rule. The rule is if a player deliberately moves his hand to contact the puck, which he did. He deliberately moved his hand. The puck was coming. He was here like this. The puck was coming. He lifted his hand. Deliberate motion. Puck hit his hand. What happens? His team gets an advantage. If your team gains an advantage from you deliberately hitting the puck with your hand, it's a hand pass. Whether or not he meant to give it to his teammate or not, it's a fact the advantage was gained. So to referee the play, boom, they go to replay, it's confirmed, no goal.
I think it's important to note that they have to gain the advantage by going to a teammate. Because if he just knocks that straight down with his hand and plays it himself first, he's okay. You see players do it all the time. Catch the puck, drop it down, start playing on their own. So that's fine. It's because it hit his hand, deliberate motion, and it went to a teammate. Because you can gain an advantage by catching the puck and putting it there. You caught the puck, but that's okay. It's going right to you. You received it, you dropped it, and you play.
And even take it one step further. If he does that, for example, let's say he does that, but he does it a lot harder, and he bangs it back to where it came from, into the corner, and no one's in the corner. And two players, one from each team, go and play that puck, and the Rangers end up winning that battle, that might be waved off because there was no advantage gained. Two players had to go and fight for the puck after it was hit and not directly resulting in the goal. Or if it had hit his arm and gone behind him into the corner where no one's standing, and both teams had to skate 15 feet to get that puck, there's a chance that could have been deemed not an advantage. But in this case, right to his teammate's stick, boom, in the net. Tough to argue that's not an advantage.
Clear cut, absolutely. So the next one, we're going to San Jose Sharks, New Jersey Devils. No goal, similar to the one we had before. So I'll roll the clip here, about 20 seconds, and let Dave break it down for everyone.
So it looks like the call on the ice is going to stand here. It's hard to see from this angle, but from over the top here, watch near the top of the goal. The puck boomerangs in right there. You can see the red line. You can see the puck.
So what they were discussing, the announcers were, is that you can see the puck clearly crossing the goal line. Yeah. But Dave, tell us why it's not a goal.
Well, much like the one we talked about 2 weeks ago, you don't want the referees. So before we had video replay, back when I started in the 90s and early 2000s, we didn't have the video replay on these kind of plays. It was impossible to challenge for goalie interference, any of that. So you wanted to kill the play as soon as you lost sight of the puck. You wanted to make sure that a goal wasn't scored when it should have been a whistle. Now what you want to tell the referees is have a bit of patience. If you're 100% sure the puck is frozen, then by all means, hammer that whistle. If you're looking around trying to find the puck, and the goaltender, his body language seems to sort of tell you that maybe he doesn't know where the puck is either, I'm okay letting that roll. And the reason I'm okay letting it roll, because as soon as you hammer that whistle, the play's dead. And you can't score a goal unless the puck rolls on its own with no one moving it. And we had one of those. Rangers got scored on a few weeks ago that way. But once you, 99% of the time, once you blow that whistle, play's dead. And there's no worse feeling than killing the play as a referee. And as soon as you kill it, you realize the puck was loose and they bury it in the open net, because you just feel terrible and there's no way you can award that goal. So take that extra second, and if you're wrong, if the puck was covered, we have the mechanism now to challenge it or just go to review and show what really happened. And that's what happened in this case. He couldn't find the puck. He's in great position, but these things happen so fast. So he's not going to be standing behind the net as a referee when the shot comes. He's got to be towards the corner. As soon as the puck stops moving, he attacks the net, the referee. You can see him come into the picture, and all of a sudden, as he's coming in there, he's looking. He still can't find the puck. And the New Jersey Devil player pokes with his stick. The action's very obvious. And as he pokes, you see the puck cross the goal line. Right there, the referee puts 2 and 2 together. He goes, that puck was frozen. Goaltender had it. Just because I didn't blow the whistle, I'm saying to everybody right now, I now realize that puck was frozen. And the only reason it came across the goal line was the action of the New Jersey Devils player poking it loose. And I saw him poke it loose. I saw it go. I wasn't sure where it was, but now that I see it moving, I know where it was, and I know it wasn't moving, and I know the goalie had it. The only thing we're going to confirm here by video is when the goalie had it, was it in the net already or was it on the goal line? And they went to review and showed that the puck, to the best of their ability, was on the goal line. The goalie had it pinned with his pad against the post, and the only reason it was put into the net was because of the late poke by the New Jersey player. Referee put 2 and 2 together, rightfully said that it should have been a whistle, even though he hadn't blown it yet, and disallowed the goal. And that's how those things work.
So that's really interesting that you're saying he using deductive reasoning, basically. Went up there, figured out where it was, what was going on, and decided that I should have blown the whistle. Not necessarily that he was going to. We've talked about it before with the intent to blow the whistle. This wasn't so much he had an intent to. This is where he realizes, oh, I should have already blown this whistle. Like
he realizes at that point, as it's poked loose, he uses deductive reasoning and says, I realized that was frozen because I saw where it popped loose from. And even without that deductive reasoning, let's say he were to say, okay, goal. The team that gets scored on is probably going to mount a coach's challenge. And they're going to win the coach's challenge because it shows the puck was frozen. And it only crossed the line because it was poked loose. The referee speeds that process up by saying, I'm calling it no goal because the goaltender had it frozen. I now see, I saw where the puck came from. And I was there to witness it go from a stop position. I was looking, trying to find where it is. Oh, boom, there's the puck. I realize now it was stopped and now it's moving. And I see the poke of the stick because the stick follows right through and hits the puck. So he uses deductive reasoning, like you said. So that should have been a whistle. I'm not allowing that goal.
That's a great thought. And something else you mentioned about how they're emphasizing now to let the play go a little bit. You said back in the day it was you lose sight of the puck, you blow the whistle. I feel like that's an overall theme in sports in general these days. With the advantages of video review and replay, they're kind of giving officials the leeway. Hey, look, let the play out. If you're not sure, lean towards letting it keep going. And if we need to go back and correct something, we will. Is that something that you think's going on specifically for the NHL? Okay.
Not in hockey. Maybe in other sports, but not in hockey. Other sports, for example, football, you let it roll, there's going to be a whistle 2 seconds later anyways, right? In hockey, if a linesman isn't sure on an offside and lets it roll, it could go for 2 minutes. The team ends up scoring, and then they review it and show it was offside, and you've wasted 2 minutes of everybody's time. So, for example, offside, linesmen want to get it right. They react with their gut. They're not thinking, well, if I let this roll, we can fix it by replay. No, they don't want to be the linesman who has 15 reviews overruled and goals taken away because they missed it at the blue line. They don't want to be that guy. So they react with their gut. There's no thinking about video review and all that. In a case with the puck, if you're sure it's frozen, you blow that whistle. All we're saying, though, is sometimes when you got guys banging and crashing at the net, there was a tendency of a referee to want to, I don't want to say overreact, but kill that play just to be safe. Like, I don't want somebody getting hurt or whatever and all that. All we're saying to them now is if there's a doubt in your mind that it's frozen, just because you can't see it, if there's a doubt in your mind that it's frozen, take that 1 extra second. We're not talking let them bang at the goalie for 5 seconds and then disallow it or use review. All we're saying is you've got that whistle right here. You're trying to find the puck, and the goalie's not moving at all. Kill the play. But you're trying to find the puck, and the goalie's sort of like in scramble mode, and it might be under his pad, but he's not sure. Take that extra second, because once you kill that play, there's nothing you can do. Take the time to get to the net, and if you do wait too long and they bang it in, there's a remedy to fix it. But there is no remedy to fix it if you blow the whistle too soon. That's all I'm saying.
An example I can think of almost the reverse happening was actually with the Flyers and the Blackhawks in the 2010 Stanley Cup Finals. I don't know if you remember this. Chris Pronger took a
was that the goal where Kane won the Stanley Cup and no one knew the puck was in the net?
No, that one hurts me and cuts me deep for you bringing that up. I'm talking about a different goal that the Flyers scored. Okay. But I believe it was Chris. I believe it was Chris Pronger.
Got you deep.
I believe it was Chris Pronger. He took a shot from the point, and the puck kind of got lost. It was spinning on its edge, and the whole puck eventually, via replay review, you saw that the whole puck actually spun and crossed it, but they didn't call it a goal right away. Chicago, instead of it ending up getting frozen, actually knocked it out, and the play continued for almost 5 minutes, 6 minutes or so. Eventually, there was another stoppage, and then the video room was already on it. They already were like, hey, like, this is a goal. Take a look at it. Come back, call it a goal. So in that situation, they had to rewind because you talk about, hey, if you let it go for 2 minutes, you waste everybody's time. In this particular instance, they let it go. They went back and they reviewed it, but it was the right thing to do, even though it was, 5-6 minutes later.
So they changed the rule. And now if Toronto has 100% positive that puck's across the goal line, which they probably knew that, 60 seconds later, they might have watched it 4 or 5 times. They immediately call the penalty box, tell the guy to blow the horn.
Oh, really?
Yes. So when you see, from now on, whenever somebody thinks that there's a puck that should have been in, oh, that was a goal, and the play keeps going, if like 40 seconds later the horn blows, you're pretty sure it's a goal.
It's okay.
And the reason they do that is they don't want I mean, what could happen in that 5 minutes? You could have a guy spear a guy in the face and get suspended when he shouldn't even have been playing.
Yeah, any
Right?
kind of injury, any kind of injury, injuries, yep.
Fight, or the worst is the other team scores and they're all excited, and then you're taking away their goal and giving a goal to the other team. I mean,
2-goal swing.
That's just awful, right? So, and I've seen that happen, but it happened bang bang, So, in fact, the one that happened, and maybe we can show that next week. But Team A scored a goal from the blue line on a slap shot. Puck went in and out. Referees didn't observe it go in and out. Immediately, they sprung the guy loose on a breakaway the other way. He got tripped on the breakaway, so we had a penalty shot being signaled, but they still managed to, I believe, score a goal. And they were so excited, like, we scored. And it's like, no, that goal doesn't count because you just got scored on. At the other end, that
goal doesn't count, and you're not getting a penalty shot, and you're down a goal.
I believe they did get the penalty shot because any penalty that is incurred, I take it back. They didn't get the penalty shot because you only score one goal on any stoppage of play. But any penalty taken by the team that scored is still assessed. So the team that scored initially got a goal. The team that scored second got the goal taken away, and they were all excited now because they're going to get a penalty shot. But if they were to score in a penalty shot, that would be 2 goals in the same stoppage. So they had to live with a 2-minute minor for tripping, and they got a power play. Yeah.
So that's actually fascinating.
It is.
I want to. We got to talk about that. Find that clip because I want to pull that up there and break that down. That's actually really cool.
We'll do that next.
Because that's some stuff I definitely didn't know. Yeah.
We'll do that next episode. Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be a fun one, man. So we broke down 3 plays today. As always, at the end of the show, I like to give Dave his soapbox. So anything you want to talk about, hockey, non-hockey, whatever you want to talk, any calls you want to hype up, it's all you, Dave.
You know what? I'm terrible at this, and I next time you got to remind me that I'm going to get a soapbox at the end. I really don't have any burning issue right now. I mean, we covered the burning issues. Those 3 calls, people up in arms. So, how about just people follow me on Twitter? And I have lots of content like this. ESPN Ref NHL. That's my Twitter handle. Or just search Dave Jackson. You'll find it. And I try and break down calls, and I answer people. People ask me questions. People have rule questions. I'm glad to answer them. More than happy to.
Yeah, you're definitely very interactive on Twitter. So that's always, I feel like people always appreciate that. For me, I had a long week dealing with being sick for a little bit, had to shut the shop down for a little bit. So I'm just going to tell people, wash your hands, maintain your health. It's cold and flu season. Make sure you can keep yourself in the game by staying healthy and doing basic hygiene stuff. Also, reminder, check out all the HW radio shows, Time I Skates, HW Radio, and Pod Street Bullies. Also, you can find Dave all the time on the ESPN broadcast as the official ESPN NHL's rules analyst. Thanks so much for tuning in, guys. We appreciate it. We'll be back again for episode 3.